Let's just dive right into this explainer, because today we're journeying through the absolutely fascinating biological mechanics and evolutionary quirks hidden right inside your own eyes. We often think of our eye color as just, well, a cosmetic trait, right? Just a random roll of the genetic dice. But as it turns out, your eye color actually comes with a really unique set of physiological advantages and, to be honest, some pretty glaring biological drawbacks. So let's break down the science behind the whole shebang.
Now, you might be wondering where exactly you rank on this biological leaderboard. Well, we're going to find out. We are counting down every single eye color, moving from the least to the most advantageous, until we finally crown the ultimate biological king. We'll be weighing their distinct superpowers, think things like built-in sun protection or even enhanced night vision, against their inherent weaknesses.
Welcome to the King's Court. Kicking off our list at number 8, occurring in just 5% of the world, we have amber eyes. What's super fascinating here is the unique chemistry behind this color. Amber eyes share a pigment called pheomelanin, which codes for this really striking reddish-yellow hue. And what makes this so wild is that pheomelanin is actually very commonly found in animals, like foxes or wolves. That makes this literally one of the only eye colors to share a direct visual trait with the animal kingdom.
So what's the trade-off here? Well, the theory goes that lighter eyes have less melanin, meaning they soak up way less stray light. This lets a tiny bit more light scatter around inside the eye before reaching the retina, which theoretically grants them better night vision. Pretty cool, right? However, because they lack that heavy melanin shield, they really struggle with glare in bright environments and might even face a higher risk of cataracts down the line. Because of this mix of predatory night vision and daytime vulnerability, we're giving them the title of Hunter of the King's Court.
Moving right along to spot number 7, found in roughly 5 to 8% of people, are hazel eyes. Hazel is incredibly unique because it isn't just one solid color. It's this patchy, dynamic mix of brown, green, and gold tones. People are always claiming hazel eyes change color with their mood, but it's actually just physics. Depending on the lighting, the viewing angle, or even pupil size, different pigments in the eye will visually pop. And because of this genetic roll of the dice, their physical advantages are entirely chance-based. It all depends on their exact specific color mix. They might get the perks of darker eyes, or maybe the night vision of lighter eyes. Universally, though, their shifting irises make them widely viewed as exotic and highly attractive. But on the flip side, they are quite sensitive to sun glare, and they do carry a slightly higher risk of age-related macular degeneration, or AMD for short. We're going to dub this widely attractive but sensitive color the Princess of the King's Court.
Next up, the light-eyed wonders. Taking the 6th spot is green eyes, occurring in just a tiny 2% of the world. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most bizarre quirks in human genetics. Ready for this? There is actually zero green pigment in a green eye. None. It is a complete optical illusion. It's caused by low melanin, a touch of yellow pigment, and the specific way light scatters inside the eye. It's just a magnificent trick of color theory.
Socially speaking, green eyes have this kind of mystical allure, right? They're often considered folklore symbols of mystery or luck, and they rank as one of the most attractive colors globally. They also get that slight night vision boost due to the lower melanin. But we have to balance that against their pretty serious health risks. That includes greater light sensitivity and a higher risk for ocular melanoma and skin cancers, simply due to their overall lower body melanin levels. Because of this delicate balance, they're crowned the Mistress of the King's Court.
Right in the middle at number 5, we've got blue eyes, which represent about 8 to 10% of the population. What's historically fascinating here is that blue eyes act as the genetic origin point for all lighter eye colors in humans today. Before this specific mutation occurred, every single human exclusively had dark eyes. And much like green, the blue hue is produced entirely by light scattering in the stroma of the iris rather than any actual blue pigment.
Because of their inherent, significant lack of melanin, there's almost nothing there to absorb stray light. This means even the tiniest bit of reflected light in the dark is highly noticeable to them, granting them absolutely fantastic night vision. But the cost is steep. They are incredibly sensitive to the sun and carry a comparatively higher lifetime risk of skin cancer and ocular melanoma. Armed with sight in the dark, but highly vulnerable in the light, they definitely earn the title Assassin of the King's Court.
Just missing the top 3 are gray eyes. Now, if you thought green was rare, gray eyes are the absolute rarest standard eye color on this entire list, sitting at roughly just 1% of the global population.
Some studies actually suggest gray eyes might have even less melanin than blue eyes. A slightly different structural makeup in the stroma scatters light differently, creating that incredibly striking silvery color.
This gives them what is essentially a supercharged version of blue eye advantages, meaning superior night vision. But again, it comes with painful UV sensitivity and increased cancer risks. Prowling the night but hiding from the sun, they are perfectly named the werewolves of the king's court.
Moving into the top 3. The original dominant color. Entering our top 3, held by a massive 50% of the world, we have brown eyes. This was the very first eye color to ever evolve in humans, and honestly, looking at the data, it's absolutely no wonder they've lasted this long as the global majority. I absolutely love this breakdown. The sheer volume of melanin in brown eyes essentially acts like built-in sunglasses. It provides the best UV and glare protection of any standard color. They boast some of the lowest rates of AMD and ocular melanoma. Plus, studies actually show that people perceive brown-eyed individuals as naturally warmer and more trustworthy. The only real drawback? Poor night vision. But these overwhelming evolutionary advantages and social warmth firmly declare them the heavily shielded queen of the king's court.
Now for something completely different, the genetic wildcard.
Our runner-up is complete heterochromia, a condition found in about 1% of people. While it can be acquired after birth, we're specifically talking about the genetic version here, where a person carries one completely dark eye and one completely light eye.
Just think about the mechanics of this for a second. If you have one brown eye and one blue eye, you hypothetically possess the ultimate biological toolkit. You get the heavy health and UV protection of the dark eye, paired simultaneously with the enhanced night vision of the light eye. Plus, it is just incredibly visually striking. Aside from the rare chance it signals an underlying medical issue, it's a massive genetic win. We enthusiastically dub this rare, rule-breaking condition the Jester of the king's court.
So we only have one spot left on our countdown. If brown eyes have the best standard protection, and heterochromia has the best of both worlds, what specific eye color could possibly beat all the rest to take the throne?
Let's find out. The king of eye colors. Taking the absolute #1 spot, black eyes. Now, technically speaking, true black eyes do not exist in human biology. What we're actually looking at here, which accounts for about 10% of the global population, by the way, are very, very dark brown eyes. They possess such a ridiculously dense concentration of melanin that they visually appear completely black.
Black eyes are the king because they take every single health and light advantage of dark-colored eyes and charge them up to the absolute maximum. They offer unparalleled biological protection against harsh sunlight, UV rays, and ocular disease. The catch? Well, because that immense melanin absorbs almost all stray light, they have the absolute worst night vision of any human eye color.
So the crucial point to take away from this whole explainer is that biology is ultimately all about balance. Every single eye color has a unique evolutionary trade-off. We've seen how lighter eyes trade protection for sight in the dark, while the king maximizes health at the cost of night vision. It really leaves us with a fascinating question to ponder. Knowing what you know now, is ultimate biological protection actually worth losing your sight in the shadows?